What if somebody tries to sell you a drum set for $30,000 with a 10-year loan at 15% interest? Sounds crazy, right? Well, stick with me because basically that's the deal I got pitched in Las Vegas, and it taught me one of the most important lessons about negotiating that you'll ever hear. Hi, my name is Clayton Craddock from Broadway Drumming 101, and today I'm going to share a story I call the $30,000 drum set deal that made perfect sense until it didn't. And more importantly, I'm going to show you how slowing down and asking the right questions can save you, whether you're booking a gig, negotiating a contract, or just trying not to get ripped off. So let's dive in. Picture this. I'm in Las Vegas with my girlfriend, and we're staying at a Hilton Grand Vacations property, and like clockwork, they invite us to one of their presentations. And if you've ever been to one, here's the setup. They wine and dine you. They show you a nice night out before, nice breakfast, then they roll out the sales pitch with glossy brochures, videos of happy families, and breathtaking resorts. They make it sound like a deal of a lifetime. And to be honest with you, at first, I thought, you know what? Okay, maybe we can make this work. If we paid cash up front, it might actually be worth it. So what can you afford each month? That's when the alarm bells started to ring. Because when somebody stops talking about what something is actually worth and only talks about monthly payments, what they're really selling you is debt. 10 years of debt at 15% interest. By the time you finish paying the deal, it's worth way less than what you put into it. And here's where it gets interesting. We've been talking to one guy the whole time. Nice guy, personable, and even mentioned that his daughter plays drums. I thought, cool, maybe I can connect with this guy on a musician father level. Suddenly, they pull the classic handoff. In comes his boss, new face, different energy, and it's clear his job is to pressure us into signing. I asked him, wait, why can't we just keep talking to the first guy? The answer was vague and unsatisfying, and at the moment, I knew exactly what was happening. So I decided to flip the script. I told the first guy, hey, wait, sure, you know what? How about this? Talk about drum lessons. I'll give your daughter drum set lessons, but only if she buys the drum set from me and finances it at 15% interest for 30 grand over 10 years. He didn't laugh, but I did inside, because that's literally what they were offering me. Just swap out vacation points for drum set. You know what? On paper, it might look like it makes sense, but in reality, to me, it's ridiculous. And that's the point. A deal that looks great at first glance can completely fall apart once you slow down, ask the right questions, and run the numbers. Now, let me pause here for a second, because this lesson applies just as much to musicians as it does to timeshares. Too many players jump into gigs without asking the important questions and end up with less money, more stress, and no leverage. That's why I put together a free PDF that you can download now called 20 Questions to Ask Before Saying Yes to Any Gig. It's short, it's practical, and it will keep you from falling into traps just like this one. You can grab it at BroadwayBoundBook.com, and if you're serious about building a career, you need to read it. Okay, back to the story. The longer I sat there, the clearer it became this dream deal was no dream at all. The numbers didn't really add up. The terms turned out to be something that might have been reasonable in cash into an overpaid, bloated commitment. And the more I pushed back, the more obvious the holes in their pitch became. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't just about vacations. This was about negotiation itself. If you don't ask the right questions, you can easily get talked into a bad deal. That's true in life, and it's especially true in music. When I started sharpening my negotiating skills, everything changed. A band leader once recommended that I read Chris Voss's book, Never Split the Difference. Voss was an FBI hostage negotiator, and his tactics work just as well in the entertainment business as they do in high-stakes crises. Here are a few things that completely changed how I approach deals. Number one, you got to have tactical empathy. Acknowledge their position before you push your own. Number two, mirroring. Repeat their last few words. It keeps them talking, and you'll learn a lot more. Number three, labeling. Name their emotion. It lowers the tension instantly. And number four, ask calibrated questions. My favorite is to ask, so how can we make this work? And suddenly the conversation shifts towards solutions. Once I started using these tools, I was calmer, more confident, and I stopped taking terms that didn't serve me. And here's the truth. Negotiation in music isn't just about the paycheck. It's about the whole package. Rehearsal pay, travel compensation, gear rental, and respect. I've doubled my workshop pay for things that I've done by charging backline fees. I've asked for higher rates after lowball offers, and I've gotten travel covered when other players didn't even think to ask. That's the difference between surviving and actually building a career. So here's my challenge to you. Slow down. Don't just take what's offered. Ask the right questions, run the numbers, and protect your value. That's why you should remember my piece on Broadway Drumming 101 called the $30,000 drum set deal that made perfect sense until it didn't. Subscribe today. And if this story helped you, hit that like button and subscribe right now to my YouTube channel, and make sure you subscribe to Broadway Drumming 101. On the site, I share stories, strategies, and behind-the-scenes lessons that musicians rarely talk about that make all the difference when you're trying to build a career on Broadway and beyond. Stick around. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Thank you.